Hey guys, Derek here from A Guy, a Girl, and a Camper Van. So ever since we first started posting videos on YouTube over a year ago, there's been a couple of questions that have come up over and over again in the comments section. One of them we've already answered, which was, where the heck did you guys shower while living in a van for 2 years? And the other one has to do with this table. It seems as though a lot of people have been really fond of the way that our table works and have been curious as to how exactly we built it. And so today, I'm going to answer that question and show you exactly how I did it. Whenever we first purchased our camper van, the layout was quite a bit different than it is now. One of the biggest differences is that there were 2 benches running this way on either side of the van. And in between them on the floor, there was a spot to mount a table for your dinette. So every night after dinner, you would have to tear your table out, then you would have to fold the benches down in order to make a bed. And then every morning you'd have to tear the bed apart in order to make your benches again and put your table back in order to have breakfast. There's nothing wrong with that layout. A lot of camper vans are set up that way. But we figured if we were going to have to do this every single day for an extended period of time while living in our van, it would get pretty annoying pretty fast. And so we decided we wanted to have a permanent bed and a permanent sitting area so that we would never have to be tearing things apart all of the time. So the way we decided to do it was to put our bed this way instead, because the van is about 6.5 feet wide, which is perfect because I am just under 6 feet tall and Paula is just over 5 feet tall. And so this gave us plenty of room to sleep and still left enough room for us to be able to sit down. The only thing that it didn't leave room for was a permanent table. And so instead, we had to figure out a way to be able to put a table in that could be put in and taken down very quickly, very effortlessly, and stowed away as if it didn't even exist. And so this is what we came up with. As you can see down here, we've got this black pipe that is permanently affixed to the bed. That's the only part of our table that's permanently set up at all times. But then we've got this table leg that fits perfectly inside this pipe. And once it's inserted, you can see that it rotates 360 degrees. And so if we put it over here above the bed, and then we grab our tabletop, it screws onto the top of the leg like so. And once it's screwed on, because this leg rotates, we can rotate the table as well. And so now whenever we're having dinner, we can sit here and have all of our food. But if I forgot something in the kitchen, or I need to go to the washroom, or I need to just exit the van for some reason, all I have to do is rotate the table over the bed. All of our food stays perfectly level and exactly where we left it. And then I can get out of my seat and I can do whatever I need to do. And then whenever I come back, I just rotate the table back between us again, and then we continue on with our dinner. But after dinner, if we wanted to lay in bed and maybe watch a movie on our laptop, we can put our laptop on the table, and then it rotates right over here above Paula's seat, and then we can lie in bed here and watch our movie. So this table basically does everything we could ever dream of a table to do in such a small space. And it also comes apart incredibly quickly. Simply unscrew that, and this table, though it looks pretty big, it's really flat. And so this actually fits perfectly behind the driver's seat. And the table leg just pulls out, and once again, it looks pretty big, but if you look at it this way, it's totally flat. It fits right behind the driver's seat as well. And the little bit of space behind the driver's seat would normally be wasted because there's really nothing else that can fit there. And so these just slide in seamlessly and you would never even know that they existed. So now we can go to bed, and in the morning, it simply takes us less than 5 seconds to throw this back together again. So we used this table every single day for 2 years while we lived in our van. And honestly, I can't think of any way that I can improve on the design. I mean, sure, there's probably cosmetic things that we could do. Maybe we could paint some of the metal or something like that, but that's all aesthetics. When it comes to the utility and the function of the table, It really does everything that we could possibly want it to. So now that you have a refresher on exactly how our table works, let's head inside the house and I'll show you how I built it. So I brought everything into the house so that I'd have a little more room to take the leg apart and show you each of the components. Absolutely everything you need can be purchased at a local home improvement store. The basic design I came up with consists of a 26-inch vertical section and a 12-inch horizontal section. I came to these exact dimensions by measuring the height of the bed and the approximate midpoint of where the table would eventually sit when rotated into position between the two dinette seats. Your measurements will likely differ based on the layout of your living space. I needed a material that would be easy to work with and assemble, but also incredibly strong to ensure that our dinner never ended up on the floor. After experimenting with a few different options, I settled on galvanized pipe. It comes in many lengths and diameters and can be connected by using a wide variety of threaded fittings. So here's what you'll need to build the leg. 1 inch and a quarter diameter galvanized pipe cut to 1 foot long and threaded on both ends. Another 1 inch and a quarter pipe cut to 26 inches long and threaded at one end. A female to female elbow, a female to male elbow, a plastic bushing from the electrical section, and finally, 1 inch and a quarter flange, which we'll use to connect the leg to the tabletop. Next, for the black pivot point that's permanently attached to the bed, you'll need an ABS pipe with an internal diameter just slightly larger than the galvanized pipes and cut to 18 inches long to match the height of the bed frame, an ABS end cap, 2 pipe brackets, and some screw nails to fasten everything together. As for the tabletop, I actually just reused the one that came with the van, but removed the original straight leg which was screwed to the underside. If you don't have a tabletop to reuse, then one can easily be constructed from a wide variety of sturdy materials, such as plywood, shelving, a section of old countertop, etc. Another great thing about the galvanized pipe is that if it doesn't already come in the exact length you need, then the home improvement store will happily cut it and thread it for you at no extra charge. Once you have all the parts in order, assembling the leg can be completed very quickly. Simply screw both pipes into the female-female elbow, and then screw the female-male elbow to the other end of the horizontal section so that the thread is facing up. As a final step, insert the plastic bushing into the non-threaded end of the vertical pipe. This piece was added simply to allow the bottom of the leg to rotate smoothly on the floor. The plastic causes far less friction than the cut metal edge. Depending on the bushing, you may also need to trim the edges slightly with a sharp knife or some sandpaper. The goal is to have the edges perfectly flush with the outside of the pipe. The fittings can all be screwed together fairly tightly just with your hands, but I decided to use a pair of channel lock pliers as well, just to be safe. And that's it. The leg is complete. On the underside of the tabletop, I drew some pencil lines between the screw holes of the old leg, just to find the center point, and then used some short screw nails to attach the flange. Now for the pivot point. As you can see, I've cut away a section of the end cap so that it can sit flush against the molding at the base of the bed. I did this by very carefully trimming the plastic away with a sharp knife until it matched the pattern of the molding. Then I placed the end cap on the ABS pipe and used it as a template to trim the end of the pipe as well. At the other end of the pipe, I drilled a hole that was large enough to fit a screwdriver bit through so that I could eventually access a screw nail from the inside of the pipe to attach it to the bed frame. And finally, I straightened out the ends of the pipe brackets so that they could be used to make sure that the ABS pipe remained securely in place. That'll make more sense in a moment. Okay, now let's head back out to the van.
So now if we pull this curtain back from our storage area, you can see that we've already screwed in these 2 brackets. So next, we take our cap that's already been shaped to match this molding, and we put it in place, and then we screw it in. So now we grab our pipe, and here's the end that we trimmed back again because of the molding. And so we insert that, and then put the brackets around it. And then now we can use this hole that we drilled in order to access the screw to be able to screw this into the bed frame. Now all that's left is to screw in the other side of these 2 brackets. And there we go. Now this pipe is perfectly secure. So we can put our storage curtain back. And now it's time to insert the table leg. Grab the tabletop and screw it on. And that's all there is to it. So hopefully I gave enough detail for those of you who want to adapt this type of table for use in your own situation. But if you do have any questions, feel free to leave us a comment below the video, and we'll do our best to answer any questions that you have. And speaking of comments, if you enjoyed this video, then please let us know that as well. Because as I mentioned, we basically gutted the entire back of this van and rebuilt everything from scratch. And so we've got a lot of photos and video clips that we could put together to show you how we built the bed and the dinette seats and all of our storage and everything else. So if you are interested in that kind of thing, please let us know and we can start putting something together for you. But in the meantime, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week. And Paula will be in the next video, I promise.